This is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm going to put up the second tape to the mind games and programming, like you can program games, football games, people, mass people, people to rape and shoot like they did Larry Flint. So I'm going, it's subliminal hypnosis, and some people are playing games with it. So let me turn this around, if you can bear with me here a minute. Because I can't get it in any other way. Now, I hope this takes all right. Again, it's showing my face, not just my nose or side. And I'm going to pick this up, and I don't think I've ever put this up before. Nobody's ever done anything about it. Maybe I should get closer to it so it'll hear it. I'm going to pick it up where I left Reagan's office in October, early October, and it was cold. I'd left my book, MD License to Kill. I'd tried to get it published, and I'd almost been killed April Fool's Day of '80. To give you just a little background, I had taken it in a box, and I was walking. I had no money. I'd been put out on the street April Fool's Day again. They almost killed me. And I thought it was because of the book, and later I found out it's because of who I am and about my kidnapping. So I wrote the book, though, and I had a copy of the book. I had a letter from the FBI. The book was enclosed in a little box, and I had letters from the FBI, and I had two of them, and rejection slips of the book, except Reveal. They had gone before their board. That was religious, I believe, their division. So anyway, I put this very neatly on the box, the FBI letter first, so they could get it. So there was no doubt what it was. On the way back, I'm going to leave it out. I've put it up on this prior tape number one. I was raped. I was picked up in Martinez and took to outside Thomaston, Georgia, to a park and raped. And it ended up being, this is where I'm going to start again. I ended up being taken to, I'm running through the forest with my clothes half off of them and my arms tied behind me, and I'm falling down and cold, and so I found a couple, and the first thing she tried to do was they had a trailer out there, and I heard them was the reason I went there. And anyway, they called the police, came, and they took me to the hospital there. And I do hope this is working. They took me to the hospital. I'm trying to think what they did there. I had no clothes. The person took my suitcase when he raped me, and it had pictures of my children. And I don't remember if I had a copy of the book in the suitcase with me. It was a big case. I had my few clothes I had too. Anyway, he took it all, and my purse. My purse was found in a garbage can where he put it empty, but it had Jack Hartsfield's telephone number in it in Huntsville, who had saved my life after April Fool's Day of '80. He was a FBI agent, newspaper reporter for the Huntsville Times. And to give a little, people like to tune me out. He couldn't get things printed either. His cousin was Hank Hartsfield, and he was commander of two of the shuttles, space shuttles that went up. One was when I was up in D.C. then, April Fool's Day of what? Would that be early '82, I guess, and this is the end of '82. So anyway, I'm going to pick up here. They turned me, I went to the hospital, they took me, went out and somehow got me some clothes from, not new, and a pair of shoes. This happened twice. It happened later on, so I've been put out there just, hey, you want to rape her? Do anything you want to her. She's only the Queen of England. She wrote this book over here, and her dad's taken down, so what the hell do we care? There was some, okay. Anyway, it was Highway 20 into Atlanta. I have nowhere to go. I have been run. And when they almost killed me, people should know for a second how that felt. And I shouldn't have lived. Anyway, that is April Fool Day, baby, and this is about the 12th of October. So I thought they would help me get into Atlanta. They didn't. They took me, can you believe it? They had somebody take me, I can't remember if it's a cop car or what. They put me back on the side of the road. After I'd been raped and gone in there, and they pulled a couple of hairs out of my head and gave me I believe they gave me a hamburger and took my clothes off. I didn't get to bathe or anything, put me right back out there in the dark. And it was getting into morning then, about, I don't know what time in the morning was. It was dark. But anyway, so I had to get a ride with an 18-wheeler into Atlanta. And I'm not going to go on with what happened there. It's too much. What I'm going to go here, bear with me here. Okay, this says 3. I got 2 3s. This guy looked like Grizzly Adams, only he was dirty, and he had the beard, and he was dirty and foul-smelling and sick, S.O.B. Okay, I got this. I went over and got this from Googling, and I'm not sure it was Wikipedia or not. But I went to Lawrenceville, Georgia, because later, I'm going to throw this in, and I don't usually tell this. It's like shame for me rather than where the shame should fall. I'm the victim, me and my children. My mom and dad are. I simply was put out there. I walked out with no food, and people were told not to help me. They wouldn't. And I can remember walking back out from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a long way out to the interstate there, walking toward Roswell, out that way. And I remember it was dark. I hadn't eaten. I had to use the bathroom, everything. My clothes were gone. So I don't know if this was right after that happened to me, not long after. And this guy stopped, and he was in a Volvo, I think, but it's what he has in his car. It's, in a sense, how do you think I know about these murders being done in patterns? So what he had in his front seat, and he seemed like I don't know, he was in his early 30s, I think. And what am I going to do? I'm in the dark. Nobody's helping me. He said he lived right outside, and I could come, and he had his little daughter there, and he lived with his cousin or somebody, the house there, and I could go out, and he had a hamburger and a Coke sitting there like he was ready to, knew he was going to pick me up. Well, you put yourself, and you can't because you don't know what all I've been through. I don't have really a choice. I hope to not get killed, raped, got in the car with him. He was fine. He drove out this was planned, drove out to his home on the outskirts, and it must have been to Lawrenceville. I know it was. And so he drove that far, which is not all that far from where I was. That's where Larry Flint was shot. Later. No, I'd done the book, so this is after Larry Flint was, yeah. So he takes me out there, and I need a bath so bad. I see his little girl. She's about 3 years old, I believe. So I think, well, and his cousin or brother somebody. And I think, well, it's a nice home. There's a house across the street. Maybe I'm safe. I go in there, and I take a shower, and I hear him talking to his daughter. And whoever the guy was, his brother, somebody supposedly. He comes in there, and he rapes me. Now then, I got up when he got finished. I got up, put my dirty clothes back on. So I got a bath out of it. How's that? And a hamburger and a Coke. I went across it. It was 3 o'clock in the morning about that time. I knocked on the door, and finally the woman came to the door, and I told her that they had raped me. Would she call the police? And she says, I certainly will. She says, I've been raped before. So the police came out, and they were from Lawrenceville, where Larry Flint was brought to the hospital there. I was later told up in Grottoes in 84, 85, after I'd been in that campaign, that the doctor that was with Larry Flint when he was shot. So this was, I was told this in 84, 85 after I was out at Hustler and Larry Flint's. So I'm back. There's something about the sheriff from down there or the doctor relocated to Elkton near Grottoes, Virginia, where I pumped gas and had the Hustler car parked. And I don't even have money for gas to put in it. I'm working there to live in a camper, and I work 7 days a week, but I was glad to get it. They didn't, well, there was some abuse done there too. If you get slapped right in front of the policeman and he does nothing, just because the woman wanted to. Anyway, I cooked a meal, but I got to eat it too. And I've been through holy hell. There's no other word for it. And somebody will come up and say, well, I'll throw you a pity party. Like, hey, lady. Or they don't say lady. Everybody gets hurt. Yeah, everybody gets hurt, right? Nobody's paid for the crimes they did against me and mine. Not one person. Now, and I'd like for a few of you to walk in my shoes and see how you describe it then. Nobody will help you. I used to say it was rain everywhere, but nobody would help. Or drops of rain. I forgot how I phrased it, but let me finish with this. They took me to the Lawrenceville Hospital, and I was going to read this though. And they went out and got the doctor. I was told later, or I might have been told then, it was a doctor that treated Larry Flint when he was brought in. I shot there in 78, and I'm writing the book, and now I'm back, gone out at Flint's in the campaign. All this going on, and I'm back there, Lawrenceville, Georgia. So I don't know what happened then. I don't remember how I got into Atlanta. Somebody picked me up who could have raped, well, I mean, I'm telling you the truth. It was horrifying. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. You get on the side of the road, that's the only mode of transportation, because they've stripped you naked of everything. And I ended up, a policeman pulled up there. Somehow I got a ride to the Waffle House there, over in Roswell, that area. And I'm not going to go into the rest of it, I'm not. To keep from being killed, I didn't know anybody was going to rape me, okay? They picked me up, and the cop had just put me off there. He had picked me up. I'm trying to think, there was something else there, and I can't remember it. But anyway, I'm going to leave that, okay? There's no need telling it. All right. Now, this just went on and on. This type, on the side of the road, and praying that you lived and didn't get killed and raped. And that my children were okay. Nobody was touching this, but to hurt me. Now, I was in Wiki, or you start having to pay for that, I think, or be a member of something. But anyway, I was looking up Lawrenceville, Georgia. Now listen to this, where Larry Flint was shot, and this last rape, or this rape I just put up, was told. And I don't tell this because it's shame. People put it on me. I didn't do anything wrong. And then I turn around and people bow down to Elizabeth, who's illegal. Cold-blooded, has left me at any time. She could have at least said something. She came right through here when I'm on the Appalachian Trail when the Virginia Tech shooting happened. And people were running up to her. One girl ran up, and she's a Virginia Tech student. Here I am going to the press telling all about this, and asked Elizabeth to help her and to find out about it. I thought, my God, you have to come wearing my crown to get somebody to, I don't know. Okay, this I found, and I hope I've got it down right. It's about the city of Lawrenceville, Georgia. And it's only a few miles. Well, it's in Gwinnett County, and I'm going to read this. Lawrenceville was one of many venues in the nation where Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flint and lawyer Gene Reeves shot near this archway. It was the courthouse there, so you can Google that. And see the archway in the courthouse you're talking about. He was coming out of the court, and they showed that on TV. Now, they didn't have cameras very much back then uh, when he was shot in 78, but they did have cameras covering that. And trying to make sure I at least get here. This up here, I don't know, I'm afraid to touch it. Anyway, it says here his attorney wasn't shot and killed. He was shot, but he wasn't killed. Now, I know one of them was killed. There's question about Larry Flint, okay? I mean, his guts were blown all over with a magnum on the side of the sidewalk and taken to the hospital. Then I end up coming back through there and getting raped, and had been in the campaign out there and met Mr. Flint, supposedly anyway, a nice man. And by the way, when somebody says something about Larry Flint, I don't like pornography either, but if you ever get a look at what people have done to me and the laws and the crap, it's not crap, there's no word for it, immoral, sick, rotten, done to me and my kids. Okay, now then, Lawrenceville, Georgia, one of many venues in the nation where Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flint faced obscenity charges. And I want to tell you, I remember that. I felt sad for him. I didn't like pornography. I'd never, but I watched him he was on the stand, and I cried. I really did. I felt sad for the man, and I do so feel sad for him now, knowing what I know. I don't know they could come up and I'm not going to say they could write something horrible about me and it would really hurt. But I tell the truth. And I felt sad for him and for Althea and her brother, his name Ryder. They were nice when I was out there, and if you ever met the people I met, you would think they were holy saints. Okay. That was odd how they brought him in, made him come in. It was illegal, the summons or something, all of it. It was in the late 1970s. Well, it was March the 6th, 78. He was shot right outside the courthouse during lunch break, and with his trial lawyer, Flint and local attorney Gene Reed was shot by, well, they say what? Sniper? Well, this is a program person. This was done in patterns, all of it. You can prove it. So anyway, there was one person got killed in this. I thought it was that attorney. The judge was shot too. Anyway, I hope this is going up. Both survived. That's not true. Maybe neither of them did, because there's a question if that was Mr. Flint was ever able to get up. I was told by an NBC cameraman way back who told me he had worked for Channel 7, who won't touch any of this. Neither will Channel 10, any of them, the media. Oh God, don't let me lose my train of thought. That Mr. Flint didn't survive. Well, now I got to take that back. They didn't tell me Mr. Flint didn't survive. They said something about on the camera when he was here in court later, that they saw his leg move, and they tried to get the film across into West Virginia for some reason, and it was stolen. So anyway, that is another story. So Flint was seriously disabled years later and in prison. Listen to this. I mean, it's just ongoing. Serial killer Joseph Paul Franken claimed to be the shooter, but never produced any proof. He was executed in